but my heart is more creative. And I've had people like on other videos say, well, do art therapy, do music therapy. It's not so much that, it's just the fact that I don't want to do therapy anymore. Okay? That I feel like my heart is being called to something else. And with that being said, like I had to come to terms with what do you want to do then? I've had my experience, and I feel like with all that that conglomerate of experience, I feel like I've come to the conclusion that just this particular field, this particular sector of social work is just not for me. It was a hard decision to come to. There were some tears shed when I finally submitted my resignation letter for my last job, but I definitely know it was a God-led decision. And um, there are just things in the mental health sector that I did not agree with. And there are things that I know that are not in alignment with my overall career goals. I understand that there might be some clinicians that watch this video that do not agree with me, cannot relate to my experience, and that's totally fine. But I have a right to relay my experiences as I'm led to, for God to use them to maybe help other people who might be thinking about getting into this field. So my channel originally started under the handle of Tania the Therapist. I'm now clinical to creative. And that's because I originally started to be a resource for mental health. But then it transitioned to being a resource for social workers. And it's kind of been going in that direction for a while. I have not had any peace about my place in this career field. I've had some very hard experiences in this career field. I've never really felt settled in this career field. It's kind of like one of those things where you gain so many skills, you're just kind of doing it, going through the motions. It's not to give the implication or imply that I was half doing my work, because I would never do that. I put a lot of my effort and a lot of my energy into making sure that I was really meeting my clients' needs. But I know for a fact that my heart is not in to direct care mental health or direct care social work. When you come to terms with who you truly are, you know, especially after 10 years, that's 10 years of your life you cannot get back. 10 years of going through turmoil with bosses, co-workers that gave me a hard time, clients that were extremely difficult, paperwork, dealing with crisis situations, not getting paid for that. All of that, I can't go back in time. I can't do that. But what I can do is learn lessons and pay it forward. I know that there are a lot of people who believe that they are called to the field of social work, and it might not be as a mental health therapist. It might be doing work with organizations or going into policy work. But I only know about the direct care mental health sector as a mental health therapist. So after really praying over it and talking to the Lord about it, I realize now, because at one point I really regretted my master's degree altogether, but I realize now that it's not so much the master's degree that was the wrong decision. It was the actual way I implemented my master's degree. I got a master's degree in clinical community social work, and essentially we were kind of pushed in the direction of being a therapist. But I didn't do my due diligence, and I don't want to put it all on myself, because, you know, we could have been taught the different types of social work we could have done, but we weren't. But I should have taken the time, instead of allowing myself to be rushed, I should have taken the time to really settle in and to figure out what I wanted, the type of social work I wanted to do. And I just took whatever job I could get. And that was more on me, feeling like, okay, let me just get something. I should have taken my time. I should have really learned, Tania, what are your natural abilities and talents? What do you like to do? What do you see yourself doing 5 to 10 years from now? What do you see yourself doing, even if there are changes in structure and, you know, just different things within the industry? I didn't do that. I just allowed people and the situations to kind of like shift me, you know, like a leaf in the wind. And that's what I would definitely advise against. If you are a person who's considering going into social work, if you're a person considering going to be a therapist, I'm not trying to deter you from doing it. What I'm asking you to do is really figure out, dig deep and see, why is it that you want to be a therapist? There are things you have to do to maintain your place as a quality, competent therapist. And I was doing all those things, but in doing all those things, I had to come to terms with the fact that my heart is not in this. I don't want to do this, okay? I might have quality therapeutic relationships with my clients, but that is not enough for me to be fulfilled. And I can't do this. And we're not even going to talk about the lack of pay and not getting paid for the work that you do. And all of that rolled up into dealing with your own stuff. It's just not, I don't want to say worth it, because you're helping people. That is, you get a sense of fulfillment from that, but it's just not enough. I'll just put it that way. And then with me being a creative, like, that is where my heart is. Even though I am very much so passionate about helping people, I realize that I am not this type of social worker that I've been trying to force myself into, like this square peg into a round hole. I've been trying to pretend like I'm this person, Tania the therapist, but my heart is more creative. And I've had people like on other videos say, well, do art therapy, do music therapy. It's not so much that, it's just the fact that I don't want to do therapy anymore. And with that being said, like, I had to come to terms with, what do you want to do then? How do you want to affect change? Because you said you don't regret your master's degree anymore. So now that you're in the field of social work, how do you want to affect change? So I really went in and I decided to research the 3 different types of social work. And I'll do a video on that, a whole video on that. There's micro social work, there's meso social work, and then there's macro social work. Like I said earlier, I didn't do my research on that. And now I'm kind of like trying to figure out, how do I want to affect change in the context of my master's degree? I don't want to feel like I wasted the decade of my life. So, like I said, I know that there's a lot to say, that I'm still going to keep this channel alive. I'm going to utilize this channel, even though I'm not a therapist anymore, as a kind of like a mentorship channel. I just want to help people not make my mistakes. I do appreciate it if you made it to this point, because it is difficult to put yourself out, put your business out, about where you are in your career and being transparent about the valleys of your career. But I promise you, like, this video, I'm documenting it. I'm going to look back on this video 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, and look back and say, hey, dang, that girl, she really came a long way. She was true to herself. She did what she had to do. She got out of a messed up situation, and now look at where she is. She's doing well for herself. If you have any questions or any encouragement you'd like to leave in the comment section, I'd appreciate it. If not, if you made it to this point in this video, thank you so much. And comment below your takeaways if you have any. And until the next video, God bless. Bye-bye.